Trixie's Forest Retreat. By Crow's Crow. Chapter 55. Regale. Once again, Trixie found herself far higher above the ground than any unicorn had any right or sense to be. Plummeting through the air straight down outward to her dazzling speeds, she should have been terrified. In truth, she absolutely was, but she had promised to place her trust in the crazy daredevil that she held onto with all her might. "Okay, here we go. Get ready," Rainbow Dash called out, then spread her wings fully, pulling up out of the dive and spinning into a loop, then another. She held on tightly to Trixie, who screamed out as they were halfway through the first loop in terror, but by the time they were halfway through the second loop the screams had turned to fearful excitement. Rainbow Dash stabilized into a straight path with a cheering Trixie below her. That was great. Trixie has never been so sick, or dizzy, or thrilled. She laughed manically and tried her best to keep the world from spinning around her, and keep her breakfast down. Unlike Rainbow Dash, Trixie was completely entrained to handle the effects of the stunts, but that hardly mattered if she was not the one doing them. If anything, it just made it more fun. Though Trixie supposed that this could not technically be called resting, it was not like she was the one moving and she was at no risk of hitting her head on anything except Rainbow Dash, and she was already pressed up against her. Nah, that was nothing, these are just simple tricks, since I'm carrying you. But hey, I guess there isn't a stunt in the world that I cannot make awesome just by doing it. Rainbow Dash grinned. Trixie could literally feel that warm chest puffing up in pride. Trixie's heart rate was still skyrocketing. She could feel it pulsing ahead, but it wasn't bad enough for her to want to ruin their moment. However, sounds of voices and slamming doors below them drew Trixie's attention. She could see lights coming on in some of the houses in the streets below and ponies wander into the street. What's wrong with ponies in this town? Who gets up in the middle of the night? Do they always do that? Nah, only on special occasions. Rainbow Dash started a slow spiraling descent. Oh, what is the occasion? Trixie had not heard of any particular events that were planned for Ponyville this week. Then again, she also did not exactly get out much lately. She leaned away from Rainbow Dash just a bit, trying to get a better look at what was going on. Strangely, she found that some ponies were looking up rather than doing anything useful. It's the night of the Screeching Mare. She flies over Ponyville and her cries wake up the townsfolk. It's a new legend. Trixie's blushed scarlet and her eyes widened as realization began to set in. She glared at Rainbow Dash. How new exactly? About 2 minutes. Rainbow Dash grinned at Trixie and motioned down at the gathering ponies. Want to go say hi? Tightening her grip around Rainbow Dash, Trixie quickly shook her head. No. Oh, look at the time. Trixie sure is tired. Let's go home, right now. The last thing she wanted was to have yet another crime to account for. She was pretty sure that disturbing the peace had to qualify. She tried to hide her face in the prismatic mane. Trixie could feel the wind rush through her fur with decreasing speed while they flew back home. She could hear Rainbow Dash was gradually breathing heavier. A quick glance down confirmed they were out of Ponyville already. Rainbow Dash, Trixie has decided she wants to stretch her legs. Put her down. Almost as soon as Trixie had said it, they swooped down to the ground, landing in the grass next to the path. Good idea. Rainbow Dash panted and looked down at Trixie puzzled. Well, start walking then. Right below Rainbow Dash, Trixie rested with her back upon the grass. Her forelegs still hooked around the exhausted Pegasus. Laying her head back against the ground while she looked up at Rainbow Dash, she looked wonderful, silhouetted against the stars. Trixie can't. Rainbow Dash sighed. Why not? You did ask me to put you down, right? Trixie did, but you didn't let go. She smiled up at Rainbow Dash, who still had her furrowed hooves around Trixie as well. Not that Trixie is complaining. Staying here for a while is fine too, we have time. To Trixie's disappointment, however, Rainbow Dash quickly pulled away. Within seconds she felt the cold night air chill her fur again. She had not quite realized how cold it was at this hour when Rainbow Dash had been heating her up the whole time, but she certainly did now. Rainbow Dash dusted off her hooves awkwardly. Yeah, just testing. You know, those tests Fluttershy tried before, my job now. Right? Getting back onto her hooves, Trixie just grinned. Oh, yes. Let Trixie know if there are any more tests to do later. With that, she walked towards the road, swishing her tail at Rainbow Dash in passing. All in all, Trixie was incredibly pleased with how her night had gone, but as she walked she quickly rediscovered just how sore she was. Wincing, she looked back over her shoulder, but found Rainbow Dash was not in all that much better of a shape than she was in. Flying with a passenger must be hard. Are you okay? Snapping out of her thoughts, Rainbow Dash grinned. Of course I'm okay, I'm awesome. She retorted, then regained some of the swagger in her step as she seemed to remind herself of that fact as well. So there was this thing I've been wondering a while, you actually had a friend before, right? Called Flitter? Fluttershy told me about her. They sound pretty similar. They are, Trixie supposes. A lot more than Trixie initially realized actually. Now that Fluttershy has shown she can be assertive as well. Speaking of which, why were you not angry when Fluttershy scolded you? Trixie slowed her pace for a few seconds, bringing her next to Rainbow Dash. Why would I be? It was awesome. Sure it hurts a little bit, but she meant well. Sometimes I get a little carried away, and I'm glad I have friends I can count on to tell me that. Like you. I mean, what else is she going to do? Concoct some insane masquerade scheme to make me see the error of my ways instead of just telling me. Rainbow Dash laughed and shook her head. Trixie laughed with Rainbow Dash. Well, maybe not. It's just Trixie thought friends were supposed to get along perfectly. No, it's not like that. Having a little fight does not mean you can't be friends anymore. Like, take me and Applejack. We are cool no matter how much we fight, and we kind of do that a lot. And really, how boring would that be? Rainbow Dash's wings flared out as she spoke, giving a few practice strokes. Trixie had not thought of it that way before. It's not bad if you can resolve it like you and Applejack, just bam and you're friends again. Trixie idly kicked a loose stone of the path, watching it bounce through the grass. Yeah. Though me and Fluttershy haven't really had a fight since flight school, and even that would be pushing it. She is just so insecure, she wanted to drop out and just live on the ground. I guess you could say we compromised on that, huh? Rainbow Dash looked up at the moon, then gave an aggravated sigh at the slow passage of time. So. Magic school, huh? What's that like? Trixie gave Rainbow Dash an incredulous look. You are asking about school? That's it. Trixie knew this night was going too well, but you have really messed up this time, Changling. Oh ha, real funny, Trixie. Rainbow Dash rolled her eyes. If you don't want to talk about it, just say so. You probably got kicked out, didn't you? I mean, you run a magic show. Trixie glared at Rainbow Dash. You fool. Fine. Trixie will tell you just how wrong you are. For starters, would you run a flying show if you dropped out of flight school? No. Trixie did not think so. She caught Rainbow Dash snickering, but chose to ignore it. Though it was clear to Trixie now that Rainbow Dash had succeeded in riling her up, she knew just how to get back at the mare, adopting a lecturing voice. Magic school serves two purposes. The first is for young unicorns to learn basic magic that they will use the rest of their lives. The second, it is a place where particularly talented unicorns are scouted, and given recommendation for higher-level magic education. Though technically the school is not required, and homeschooling young unicorns until they are ready to take an exam to get into a university is also acceptable. However, this has been speculated to have a negative impact upon their social skills and may cause them to end up as bookworm. Stop. Please stop. I'm sorry, okay. Rainbow Dash cried out comedically, walking on two legs with the help of her wings, so that she could press her hooves against her ears. Any more and I'll die of boredom. And that is like the least cool way to die, second only to dying in your sleep. Huh? Actually that might be the same thing. Trixie grinned. Fine, Trixie will have mercy. But, for your information, Trixie was so talented that she got special private lessons, and graduated before any pony else in her class. She was well respected, eventually. She added the last bit with a little involuntary grumble in her voice. Rainbow Dash waved her hooves apologetically. All right, I believe you. It's just that it seemed weird to me that you would be doing a traveling show. I always hear Twilight talk about how talented unicorns go on to do, well, more magic stuff. Didn't you? Oh, Trixie understands your objection. Yes, Trixie did not simply graduate then start doing a magic show. She did some magic stuff jobs and studies first for several years, but ultimately Trixie realized she enjoyed the stage far more. Trixie does still do some studies in magic, but only from books in her wagon. Trixie trailed off and her face turned pale. She froze in the middle of the road. My book. Rainbow Dash, what happened to Trixie's books? Did the Ursa destroy them? It took Rainbow Dash a couple of steps before she realized Trixie was missing, then turned around when she heard her cry out. Huh? I dunno. Fluttershy only sent me out to ask for your clothes. I guess if they survived then Twilight would have them down at the town library. That egghead just loves collecting all kinds of books, always reading too. Hell, I bet she felt like it was her birthday if you had any books she had not read yet. By now she has probably read them all 8 times though, and I'm sure she will give them back if you want them. Okay, don't panic. Don't panic. That Ursa was pretty heavy. Trixie's wagon was a complete mess, but it might have. Well played, Celestia. Trixie took deep breaths and did her best not to freak out any further. There's nothing Trixie can do about it now. Worrying herself sick about it is just what Celestia wants, but ma. Trixie? You okay there? You don't look so good. Want me to carry you the rest of the way? I guess we might have overdone it a little. Rainbow Dash sounded worried, walking closer and setting a hoof on Trixie's shoulder. Blinking, Trixie was pulled back to reality. Huh? Oh, no. Trixie is fine. Just a little tired, so she zoned out. She struck up a quick trot towards the inviting cottage that loomed up over the hill, or on it really. Don't worry about the books either, they are just for eggheads. The great and powerful Trixie was well beyond needing them. She does not even care if they are destroyed or whole. Yeah, okay if you say so, I guess. Rainbow Dash shrugged and galloped to catch up to Trixie before she settled into a trot as well. As they passed tiny bridge that stretched over the creek in front of Fluttershy's house, Trixie stepped off the road and sat down in the grass next to an upside-down bowl that held down some hay. How Trixie knew this was a good idea. She pushed the bowl aside and started on the rest of her meal. Hey, I've been doing all the work, share some of that. Rainbow Dash sat down beside Trixie. Trixie smirked and pushed one of the untouched bruised apples over to Rainbow Dash. Here you go. Rainbow Dash took a bite of the apple without hesitation, then sniggered when she saw the look on Trixie's face. They aren't for sale, that doesn't mean they aren't for eating. It's only because AJ can't afford to waste so much time haggling with ponies that try to get a better deal on a bruised apple. It's cheaper to just give these away free to Fluttershy. She took another bite, apparently really enjoying the taste. Trixie blinked slowly, and realized she had not quite thought of that. Oh, ugh, Trixie knew that. Oh, speaking of Fluttershy. Trixie heard you two always have a date on Hearts and Hooves Day. How cute. Rainbow Dash nearly choked on her apple, coughing up some snippets and swallowing the rest. Wha? Who said that? We just hang out, that's all. It's not cool to be alone when every pony else is pairing up, you know. Oh, Trixie Canrella. Air your opinions to other single ponies at the store someday. Yes, that's it. Though it surprises Trixie you had no pony try to ask either of you, though Trixie supposes Fluttershy might be hiding too much for that. But you had no pony ever ask you. Trixie chewed her hay contemplatively while she watched Rainbow Dash. She was pretty sure the Pegasus's face was supposed to be cyan, but it sure wasn't right now. Rainbow Dash struck her chest with her hoof a few times to clear up the remains of the apple while she cleared her throat. No pony ever tried. I was way too, awesome and ponies don't like to get close calls. I overshadow them so much you know. Trixie swallowed the last of her hay and raised a brow. Right. And you never decided to go after some pony yourself either. Well, wouldn't be fair on them, would it? Rainbow Dash grinned cheesily, then quickly bit into the apple again. No, Trixie supposes it would not be. She reached for the last apple, taking a bite. It really did taste perfectly fine. Trixie couldn't help but grin as she now knew all those apples were indeed good to eat. Glorious solid food. Between the two of them, the meal was quickly devoured, and after a few long discussions involving the wonder bolts, various methods of flying through firework explosions, and what kind of legend the screeching mare would turn out to be, they decided it was late enough. Much to Trixie's displeasure, it was once again her body and mind that gave out first, and after nearly dozing off she felt Rainbow Dash slip her hooves around her again, holding her tightly. Then in a couple of powerful strokes they were through the bedroom window. Rainbow Dash unceremoniously dropped Trixie on the bed. Well, good night. Without really waiting for a response, she turned around and headed for the window, spreading out her wings again. Reaching out towards Rainbow Dash, Trixie called after her, "Wait. It's pretty late, so Fluttershy will be awake soon. Trixie thinks it would be a good idea to just stay here so you can talk to her. First thing in the morning, right?" Rainbow Dash was already halfway through the window, but sat down on the frame while she considered the idea. Well, I guess that's true. I suppose it's not really worth the effort to fly all the way back home if I have to come back here in a little while anyway. Trixie smiled confidently, trying to ignore the night's chill that came back. That's right, and as long as you are here. Trixie has a request. This is gonna be another one of your caretaker requests, isn't it? Rainbow Dash groaned, placing one hoof on her forehead. Okay, let's hear it. Well, no, you are free to leave and find your own cloud to sleep on if that is what you are worried about. Trixie made a dismissive gesture. She gave up on trying to beat the cold by force of will, and crawled under the blanket. It is just, Trixie has a hard time getting proper rest, because she has nightmares a lot. Except twice, and both times seem to have been when you were near, so Trixie figures you must function as some kind of dream catcher. Rainbow Dash tilted her head puzzled. Okay. So. Trixie blushed and grumbled, annoyed that Rainbow Dash was being so slow. In fact, she was pretty sure it was on purpose. So, won't you consider staying with Trixie tonight? To see if her theory is correct? Just until Trixie falls asleep would do too. Let me think about it. Hopping off the window frame, Rainbow Dash ducked down to grab a piece of cloth from the floor, then flew up to hang it over the window. Afterwards, she flew over to the side of the bed and looked down at Trixie, who stared back up unsure of what to do next. Is she buying it? Worse, is she onto Trixie? Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Maybe Trixie is pushing her luck. Trixie, do I really look that stupid to you? I thought you'd have figured this out by now. I don't like you tricking me. Rainbow Dash glared down at Trixie. Trixie visibly shrunk, slipping the covers up further to try and hide in reflex. Even if she liked the angry look on Rainbow Dash, right now it still made her heart race for both reasons. No, I didn't mean to. Rainbow Dash folded her hooves over her chest while she stood by the bedside. What do you want? Be honest. Trixie pressed her hooves together, fidgeting idly with them while she glanced to the door, the window, then the chest by the edge of the bed. None of them seemed particularly good methods of escape. With a resigned sigh she brought her eyes back up to meet Rainbow Dash's. Trixie wants you to sleep with her. Well, then scoot over. She motioned for Trixie to shoo, which Trixie quickly followed up on. In one fluid motion, Rainbow Dash hopped onto the bed, and rolled onto her back, folding her hooves below her head as she took up the right side of the pillow. The night air did not seem to bother her at all as she stayed above the covers. She turned to look at Trixie and gave a smile. Not that hard, was it? Thank you, Luna. Chapter 56. Redemonstrate. On the roof of the school, Trixie and Flitter feverishly discussed yet again what had them going for almost all of yesterday, Trixie's brand new kitty mark. Whether the number of blank flanks in their class had shrunk to just 4, and one of them was causing the pair endless amusement. Did you see the look on Starlight's face in class today? I was sure she was trying to burn the mark right of my flank with her stare. Trixie giggled. Flitter Bouquet laughed and nodded. Yes. She is so jealous. But well, she should be. You're really pretty. Yours is really pretty, I mean. Tell me again what it means. And what it was like? Trixie blinked briefly, but forgot all about it when she was offered another opportunity to tell her tale. She immediately struck a dramatic pose. She sat up on her flanks with one hoof on her chest and the other stretched to the sky. There I was. All eyes upon me, casting my most powerful spell. Flitter snickered at the mention of the spell. You are going to keep calling it that, huh? It was just some sparkles. Trixie paused in her dramatic reenactment to quickly look back down to Flitter. Of course. Because it is the only spell Trixie knows, so it is automatically Trixie's most powerful spell. And also Trixie's most awesome spell, but it will always be that, no matter the 1,000 new ones Trixie will learn soon. Come on, you can't possibly say that. I'm sure you will get loads more awesome spells, great and powerful Trixie. What if you learned to move the sun? Grinning, Flitter paged through their homework assignment, a history lesson on Princess Celestia. Flashing a cheesy grin at the stage name, Trixie sat back down. Doesn't matter. Don't you get it? I have my kitty mark because my best friend taught that spell to me. Sparks is the most awesome, because you taught it to me. What could be more awesome than that? Flitter blushed and stared at Trixie, then quickly looked back down at her book. Yeah, you're just saying that. Any spell would have done. Any spell that you taught me. Trixie corrected sternly, then moved over to sit next to Flitter, looking down into the book. Now, you sure are diligent, Flitter, but she can't be more interesting than me. She reached down to close the book, and gave a grin. Giggling, Flitter shook her head, and pushed the book away. No, you're right. What could be more interesting than the great and powerful Trixie? Hey, if you keep calling me that, I'll start talking in the third person too. You've been warned. Is that supposed to make me do it less, or more? The way you talk when you are like that has something special. Flitter smiled. She locked eyes with Trixie. I like it. You do? I'm glad. I never really thought about using it for anything other than a show though. Doesn't it sound weird? If I start talking like, Trixie is the greatest unicorn in Hoofington. Trixie looked unsure at Flitter, feeling a bit silly. Flitter, however, smiled widely as Trixie put on her voice. Her eyes sparkled like sun-struck fire rubies. Not at all. She brought a hoof to her chin, stroking it contemplatively. There's something missing though. You aren't really feeling it, are you? Oh, I know. Flitter picked Trixie's hat off the roof, giving a sly smile while Trixie blinked confused. She slung it on Trixie's head, pulling the brim down over her eyes. Try it again, please. Trixie was not quite sure what to think, but she had rarely seen Flitter so enthusiastic about something. Come to think of it, I've not done one of those shows since the first day I got to school. Until yesterday, but I guess she did say she really liked the first one, and the second one by the looks of it. She took a deep breath, then grinned as she lifted her head, raising the brim of her hat to uncover her adoring audience of one. The great and powerful Trixie would never deny a request. especially not from her #1 fan. With a gleeful cheer, Flitter sat back down and motioned for Trixie to continue. Clearing her throat, Trixie sprung up on her hind legs. There Trixie was, trapped in the middle of the necromancer's den, undead ponies on all sides. Her loyal companion, Flitter the Daring, carried the treasure, but she was cornered by two of the ugliest zombie foals she had ever seen, and the necromancer herself. Even for a pony as great and powerful as Trixie, there was only one way out. The dreaded terror of zombie ponies everywhere, the mighty Sparks spell. Trixie threw her front hooves into the air, knocking her hat back enough to reveal her horn in the same motion, and sent out an array of red, grey, and purple sparks. Within moments they were all enthralled by Trixie's magnificence, and they drew closer. It was then that the daring Flitter made her tactical retreat, awaiting the great and powerful Trixie's arrival at their base. But something magnificent happened that day, as Trixie stood there, mere moments away from being swarmed by the dreaded Sunny Days hordes. She recognized something. For Trixie was wise beyond her years. She had already learned that all magic tricks had a trick, and how to spot it, but what Trixie discovered that day, is that magic too is but a trick, and that fateful day. Trixie saw the trick. Hidden deep within the necromancer's dark magic. An orchid glow enveloped Trixie's horn, and soon it spread to slowly encroach around her hat while her face contorted in effort. Flitter cheered for the story at the appropriate moments and gasped comedically at the mention of dread necromancer Sunny Days, but her next gasp of surprise was completely genuine. She watched Trixie's hat float up off her head almost half a hoof, before it flopped back down, but it had definitely moved. Her eyes darted to Trixie's hooves, but they all held out in a wide dramatic gesture towards the horizons. Wow! How did you do that? Panting heavily from the effort, Trixie sunk through her heels with a wince as she impacted against the roof. The necromancer revealed her secret without knowing. Only the trained eye of a master magician, such as the great and powerful Trixie, could have unraveled its mysteries. Within seconds she overpowered the necromancer with her own spell, far more powerful and grand in scale. Giggling, Flitter let the blatant lie pass unopposed. It was clear to both of them that Sunny Days was much better at the telekinesis spell, but it was definitely a spell neither Flitter nor Trixie had any idea how to use just yesterday. Way to go, great and powerful Trixie. I bet they will never show their muzzles again. She applauded. Trixie took a bow, then dropped back onto her haunches, taking deep breaths while she smiled at Flitter. The little demonstration had been exhausting, but Trixie was sure it was not a problem of magic power. How is it that hard? Sunny can't have that much more magic, and she had like 3 plates up for ages. I'm sure I must be doing something wrong. Wait, oh, you stopped. Flitter let out a disappointed whine. Wasn't it fun? Trixie smiled. No, it was fun, but it feels weird. I don't think I'll stick with it. She paused when she saw the disappointment on Flitter's face. I'll try it a bit more later, for you. I just want to figure this spell out. I know I am missing something. Smiling, Flitter shrugged. It's too bad you can't ask Sunny for advice, but it's already amazing, Trixie. You could just wait until we get to that lesson, you know. Because there is no way they will let us leave school without knowing that. Trixie stroked her chin while she stared up at the sky thoughtfully. Yes, too bad. But I'll bet she'd be willing to give another demonstration. Packing up her books in anticipation of the bell, Flitter shook her head. Sunny isn't too bad, but she still doesn't like us, remember. Besides, Starlight and Moonrock are going to be there too. Maybe they'll all give a demonstration, if you ask nicely. A grin spread across Trixie's face. Oh, good idea, Flitter. They do all know that spell. Flitter looked at Trixie with a worried expression. I was kidding, Trixie. There's no way they'd help us just because we asked them nicely. Maybe not, nicely. Trixie scrambled onto her hooves, then picked up her backpack. Come on, Trixie has a great idea. Actually, You hold this okay? She pawned off her backpack on Flitter before she led the way down off the roof and back into the school building. Trixie, wait. Where are you going? You know we can't go in yet. They will be waiting for us. Flitter called after her friend. Normally they would wait until after the bell and arrive at class a little bit late, to avoid Starlight and her friends. Professor Silence never said anything about tardiness, and Moonrock absolutely refused to be late to class, so it was the easiest way to avoid them. It did have the minor side effect of Trixie and Flitter missing the start of every lesson, and no one ever wanted to fill them in. There was not much left of their recess, and Trixie ran around quickly with a nervous Flitter right behind her. She was not sure where the three fillies she meant to find hung out, but they always seemed to find them sooner or later. It only took a short time for Trixie to hear them. "Oh hey, it's Bucket and Trickery. What a drag, we don't usually have to see you losers before the bell." Starlight's voice actually carried a more hateful tone than usual. Trixie grinned as she spotted the trio gathered together in the hallway by their lockers, or at least Moonrock's locker. The sizable stack of books and scrolls within the open locker gave its owner away. Moonrock shook her head annoyed. "What did you finally learn how to tell time?" "Starlight, don't bother, we only have a few minutes left." "Ah, but we never get to play with them before class. Yesterday was so much fun, normally they just run away." Sunny Days piped up. Trixie looked over her shoulder at Flitter, smiling at her confidently. "Flitter, we are not going to miss the start today. Let's go." Starlight raised a brow. "What, so is this your new little plan? You learned yesterday you cannot outrun us, so you are not even going to try?" Raising her voice theatrically, Trixie leaned in closer to Starlight. "Run? That you even still dare to show your face in public is astounding." She let her eyes sweep down to the auspiciously empty fur on Starlight's leg. "Why would the great and powerful Trixie have to run from a mere blank flank? Is that why you are staring at Trixie, to see how it is done?" "What? How dare you, you! Oh, it is on." Starlight seethed while she pulled her tail over her flank. An amethyst glow sparked up around her horn, then around one of Moonrock's books. She flung it towards Trixie, but it lacked the speed to actually hit her. Trixie leaned to the side and watched the book as it flew past, or rather the aura around it. "Is that the best you can do? No wonder you don't have a kitty mark. This won't even be hard, I'll see you in class, Flitter. Be sure to take some notes for me." She grinned smugly at Starlight. Flitter nodded a little. "You oh okay." She gulped while she looked at the other three ponies, a worried look on her face, but she did not question it. Though she was on her way to the class, she could not help looking over her shoulder. Sunny bounced up and down, her orange glow already around her horn, and three more books. Oh, let me try next." Sunny chirped and sent the books flying, catching Trixie off guard as one struck her shoulder, another her chest, and the last missed. "Hey! Those are mine, be careful." "Sunny, let go." Moonrock called out. "Starlight, calm down, come on. She's taunting you, can't you see that? She's trying to make us late." "Shut up." Starlight snapped at Moonrock. "If you are not going to help, then get to your precious class." She charged up another spell to throw a book. Grinning widely, Trixie stared into Starlight's eyes. They shared the same amethyst color, yet somehow their magic aura was different. Trixie's orchid glow shone brightly as she pulled her hat back, summoning up a small barrage of bright red sparks that she sent at Starlight and Sunny Days. The effect was short, but it blinded them just enough to throw off their aim. "Ugh, fine, I don't even care anymore. If you break any of those, I'm taking yours." Moonrock growled at Starlight and Sunny. She stared briefly at Trixie, but was forced to look away when the sparks came. She turned towards Flitter, a calculating smile spread over her lips. Moonrock trotted past Flitter, then she briefly stopped to look at her. "Hey Bouquet, come on, or we're going to be late. It seems we are the only ones that still care." Flitter snapped out of her surprise. Alright. She mumbled and walked with Moonrock toward the classroom. Trixie, Starlight and Sunnydays stayed behind, continuing their minor barrage of each other, before finally resorting to hooves. It would be almost 10 minutes before they too entered the classroom, exhausted and bruised from their epic battle. For unnaturally, there really was not that much damage young fillies could actually inflict on each other. Trixie was easily the worst off of the three, but she also carried the greatest smile while she sat down beside Flitter. With a short awkward glow, she slid Flitter's notebook in between them from across the desk. Chapter 57. Remit. With a long stretching yawn, Rainbow Dash woke up, and discovered her back and the base of her wings felt terrible. She groaned as she rolled onto her side, taking her weight off her wings. Ugh, fantastic. You were supposed to stay for a little while, not actually fall asleep. Genius. A soft grumble sounded from beside Rainbow Dash when she moved. Keeping her eyes closed, not yet ready to wake up, Rainbow Dash tried to fall back asleep. It was not as if there was any point in getting up now, or at least that was her excuse beyond simply not feeling like it. With the most pressing sensation taken care of, however, she took notice of another. Unlike most of her body, which was exposed to the cool air, her chest and neck felt surprisingly warm and restricted. It felt comfortable enough for Rainbow Dash to ignore it for the time being. It must have been morning, as the birds outside were already chirping and singing merrily. While Rainbow Dash did her best to tune out the noise, a series of wooden creaks drew her attention, soon followed by hoof steps coming into the room. The sound suddenly came to a complete stop, allowing for Rainbow Dash to try drifting off again. Oh my, Fluttershy stuttered. Rainbow Dash lazily opened up one eye halfway, looking up at Fluttershy as she stood in the doorway. She gave a smile to her friend and raised up one wing to wave at her. Yawning as she spoke, "Morning, Fluttershy." Fluttershy stood still with one hoof over her mouth, which puzzled Rainbow Dash greatly. She followed Fluttershy's gaze back to the bed and blinked. Trixie had wrapped her furry legs around Rainbow's chest and snuggled up against her in her sleep. The undisturbable unicorn's lips were curled up in a blissful smile. Even if they were both on opposite sides of the blanket, Rainbow Dash's cheeks burned while she looked back at Fluttershy and quickly shook her head. This is not what it looks like," she hissed urgently. "Yeah, you shouldn't sleep in somebody else's bed without permission." Fluttershy turned without another word, then trotted back out the bedroom. Rainbow Dash could swear she saw something glisten under her eyes, and struggled to untangle herself from Trixie. Once free, she spread her wings and flew after Fluttershy quickly, catching up to her downstairs. Fluttershy had her back turned to Rainbow Dash, and kept it that way while she walked to the fireplace. She prodded at the long dead charcoal, and only succeeded in kicking up a cloud of ashes. Fluttershy winced, then she turned back around and rubbed her eyes clean, leaving some black traces on her muzzle and slightly teary eyes. Oh, hey, Rainbow. I just thought I should get breakfast ready for you." Did she get ashes in her eyes, or? Rainbow Dash shook her head. Never mind, just hold on a second. Sorry for falling asleep in your bed, but I can explain. I didn't just fall asleep on the job, I swear. Trixie woke up and asked me to stay with her, for nightmares. Fluttershy blinked. Trixie woke up. She asked you to Oh, okay. That's great news. She smiled warmly at Rainbow Dash, but to Rainbow Dash's disappointment the expression soon changed to one of worry. Oh no, she must have been so hungry then. Did you find everything okay? Do I need to make more? A breakfast? Fluttershy rambled. Fluttershy. Rainbow Dash tried. I need to make 4-3 now, I better set another plate too. And. Fluttershy. Hey, relax. I got this. Trixie ate plenty, and I took her outside for a while until she was tired out, so she probably won't wake up for a while anyway. That was one of her requests, by the way, not my idea, so don't blame me. She grinned at Fluttershy. Breathing a sigh of relief with the rapid explanation, Fluttershy's expression soon changed from worry to back to a smile. Oh, good. Rainbow Dash looked Fluttershy over, and reached up one wing to brush the ashes out of Fluttershy's fur, clearing her adorable face of the minor blemish. That's better. Oh, that's right. I have something important I need to talk to you about. Fluttershy cooed softly as the wing brushed over her cheek, then blushed furiously. Oh. What is it? She gasped as Rainbow Dash stepped in closer to her quickly, and slid both hooves around her neck, pulling into a tight hug. Rainbow Dash? I'm sorry. I was so lame while you were doing your best to be brave the whole time. I never should have said those awful things. You're cool, and brave, and I'm proud of you for everything, not just the dragon, though that was totally awesome. Throwing her hooves around Rainbow Dash, Fluttershy returned the hug, pulling close as she shook. Rainbow Dash could only see Fluttershy's wings tremble on her back while she held her. Oh, Rainbow Dash. Fluttershy barely choked out. They held their embrace for several minutes. For once, Rainbow Dash did not pull away and reveled in the soft feeling of Fluttershy's embrace. She stroked over Fluttershy's back comfortingly with one hoof, and nuzzled against her mane. I'm sorry. She repeated again. It's okay, I forgive you. I really wanted to hear you say that. Fluttershy hugged a little tighter. For such a gentle creature, Rainbow Dash was sure Fluttershy could strangle bears if she truly felt like it. Holding one another for longer than either of them kept track of, it was only when a sudden noise came from upstairs that they let go of one another and backed up enough each give a puzzled look at the other, then turned their attention to the stairs. Trixie stirred and mumbled softly, her eyes opened halfway. Mercifully, the darkened room was easy on her eyes. She licked her dry lips groggily while she looked beside her. To her surprise, that half of the bed was empty. Rainbow Dash was nowhere to be found. In an instant, Trixie sat upright in the bed and scanned the room. A dream? Of course it was. Sighing, she let herself fall back down, turning onto her flank to claim the empty half of the bed back. After all, it seemed silly to reserve it now. Burrowing her head in the pillow, Trixie sighed and took a deep breath to calm down. A familiar scent found its way to her nose. It relaxed her. Fresh rain. Wait, it's not raining. Trixie blinked, puzzled, and a brief investigation revealed it was the pillow. Trixie let out a delighted cheer and pulled the pillow into a tight hug. The strong rain sent on it proof that she had not been dreaming after all. Everything that happened with Rainbow Dash had been real, making Trixie giddy with happiness as a warm feeling spread through her chest. It is true. Trixie really did, all that. Her cheeks burned hot while she tried to hide herself in the pillow, but that only made her more excited. She replayed the memories of the previous evening back in her mind. Even if Rainbow Dash was a total talentless jerk, she somehow managed to make up for it, and then some. Finally, Trixie forced herself to her hooves. She felt so refreshed, like she had not slept so well in months. She did not need a mirror to tell she was glowing, as she knew exactly why her night had been so good. I wonder where she went. It's not that late, is it? Maybe she's helping Fluttershy with the chores. The trip from the bed to the stairs was a short one, though to Trixie's annoyance she could already tell it wore on her. At least she could take solace in the idea that Fluttershy's cottage was much smaller than even the hospital wing. Leaning against a wall to conserve her strength, Trixie made her way down the stairs, allowing herself a long yawn while she looked towards the fireplace. A smile on her face as she recognized Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash were both there, then nearly lost her footing in surprise as she realized what they were doing and slipped 2 steps before she recovered. Trixie tried to scramble backwards up to the room, intending to give the pair some privacy, but it was too late. Both of them were staring directly at her, and the best Trixie could manage was an awkward little grin while she waved one hoof. Good morning. Trixie laid her ears flat. She could see how uncomfortable they both were, holding one another, each with tears in their eyes. Trixie assumed it must have been Rainbow Dash making good on her conviction to apologize to Fluttershy at the crack of dawn. Trixie is sorry, she will just go back to bed. Probably still dreaming, yeah. She shuffled about unsteadily on the stairs, trying to turn around. Rainbow Dash spoke up first, extending a hoof up to Trixie to beckon her closer, keeping the other around Fluttershy. Trixie, wait. Calm down here. She turned her attention back to Fluttershy while Trixie resumed her climb downstairs, unsure what she was needed for. Fluttershy, I didn't figure this out on my own. Trixie helped me realize. There was a hurt tone in Rainbow Dash's voice as she admitted to it. Nodding lightly, Fluttershy smiled at Trixie while they exchanged a knowing look. Trixie, thank you so much. Moisture beaded in her eyes as she spoke. As much as Trixie had hated to see Fluttershy cry the day before, these were altogether different in kind, and she could not help but smile satisfied. What are friends for? She paused before the pair, and looked towards Rainbow Dash questioningly. Rainbow Dash chuckled. You've been playing dumb, haven't you? You've got a pretty good handle on this whole friend thing already. Trixie shrugged and gave a sly grin. Trixie had a lousy teacher, so she had to pick up some self-study along the way. On the other hoof, the flight lessons were pretty good. Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash exchanged a look, which Rainbow Dash diffused with a cheesy grin and an awkward laugh. I have no idea what you are talking about, Trixie. Now how about you shut up before I change my mind? This is only fair after all. What do you mean? Whoa. Without waiting for a reply, Rainbow Dash reached forward a hoof and pulled Trixie into the embrace as well. Fluttershy quickly caught on and slipped one hoof around Trixie as well, going along with the impromptu group hug, and smiled at the pair. Trixie's body moved almost entirely on its own as she was pulled in, her hoofs slipping around the pair of Pegasus before she even realized what she was doing. A tingling warmth unlike anything before spread through her whole body as she was allowed to share in the moment. Then she hugged both of them as closely as she could. Tears finally came to her eyes as well. Thank you both. This is wonderful.